Hello and welcome to Heavy Metal Storytime. My name's Sarah Tipper and I'm the author of 6 books, all with a metal theme. Today I'll be reading to you from the Very Metal Diary of Cleo Howard. If you liked metal in the year 1997, then you'll probably enjoy this. Wednesday, 1st of January 1997. Happy New Year, dear diary. You're a present from Auntie Alice, who always sends a book of some sort. You have a plain cover, so I'm going to customise you, and then you can help me record all the amazing stuff that happens to me this year. Big responsibility, I know, but I'm also putting my Kerrang 1997 year planner up on my wall by my bed, so you don't have to remember stuff for me. You can just chronicle all the epic adventures I have. Right now my planner looks a bit bare. I'm 14 and 10 months old. Surely my life should be more exciting by now. I do need to sort this out. I'm eating after 8 at 5 p.m. I am a chocolate maverick. Thursday, 2nd of January. Resolutions. 1. Stop worrying about my boobs. They will grow when they're ready. 2. Try harder at maths. I know I'm not thick, but sometimes in maths I feel wild dancy. 3. Stop being shy around men I like. Talk to people instead of leaving it to Jenny and Ian. 4. Take my mugs and plates downstairs. 5. Stop feeling sad that Dad doesn't live with us. 6. Put my washing in the washing basket. 7. Clean out Mustane's bowl regularly. Friday, 3rd of January. I just reread yesterday's entry, dear diary, and realised I should point out that Mustane is my goldfish. I named him because Dave Mustaine is ginger, like me and my goldfish, and because Dave Mustaine is an awesome guitar god who would be welcome in my bedroom any day. Mum would have to be out, obviously. Today, Jenny and I went into town to look at the sales. We went to HMV, Woolworths, C&A, Heelys and Jackson's. I love Jackson's. It's on Jackson's Corner, and it's like stepping into Are You Being Served? Everything is wooden and old-fashioned, even the faces of some of the sales assistants. There is a haberdashery department and solid old lady bras, and no fashionable clothes whatsoever. Jenny and I like to look at the beads in the haberdashery and at the jewellery. I always expect to see Mrs. Slocum, but she must be on a tea break when I go in, or attending to her pussy. I did see the lady who sold me my first bra last year. I blushed, but I don't think she recognised me. Would she have recognised me with my top off, dear diary? Or did she see me and think, oh, there's a 32A? Would you go a bit weird if you saw boobs all day? We decided to save our money to spend in the pub. Then we called for Ian. His dad was out, so we watched Spinal Tap. I can't decide if Nigel Tufnell or David St Hubbins is the fittest. Saturday, 4th of January. After much reflection, I think David St Hubbins is the fittest. I've literally been thinking about this since yesterday, so it's not a snap decision. I usually like dark-haired men, so I needed to be sure. Tonight at the Green Man, Reading's best pub, dear diary, there was me, Ian, Jenny, Bob and Simon the Raspberry. I love going to the pub. We sat in a corner by the fireplace. There was great stuff played on the jukebox. There was Megadeth's In My Darkest Hour, Ozzy Osbourne's Bark at the Moon, Slayer's Angel of Death and Entombed's Demon. Ian is worried about his granddad. He is in hospital and is not expected to live for much longer. His dad and his nan are going to the hospital to visit every day. Ian is going to see him tomorrow. We tried to take his mind off it by posing important dilemmas, like would he rather marry Dora Pesch, Gwen Stefani, Courtney Love, The Great Cat or Lita Ford. He said he'd need to date them all for a bit to decide. Saturday nights have the potential to be very exciting. Jenny is always secretly hoping we'll see Lex from the sixth form or Darren from the year above. Lex is one letter short of sex, and Jenny thinks he's the goth equivalent of the bee's knees or the dog's bollocks. He's sort of the bat's wings, dear diary. Also, his name sounds like Lux, as in Lux Interior from the Cramps. Darren, while not a goth, is a very fit metalhead, and Jenny calls him Dazzling Darren, in private and in her head, not out loud. That would be weird. I'm always sort of hoping we'll see Tyrannosaurus Reg. He's in the year above me, and was named Reginald after his granddad. Everyone calls him Tyrannosaurus Reg or T-Reg, because Reg is such an old-fashioned name. He's got long brown hair and brown eyes. He's much more likely to go out with Ella or Lizzie than with me, though. They are the two metal girls in the year above us, both of whom Ian likes. However, he knows he has no chance with older women. He also likes a few girls in our year. His current fave is Natalie West, but she doesn't know it, and I'm sworn to secrecy. The brilliant thing about going to the pub is that we could meet new people that don't even go to our school. The not brilliant thing about the pub is that I'm always too shy to talk to new people. Sunday, 5th of January. I realise, dear diary, I haven't introduced you to the people who were at the pub last night. Ian and Jenny are my best mates at school. Jenny is the only goth in our year. She's tall and smart and beautiful. Ian is tall, and I suppose he's handsome, but I don't see him that way. Ian and Jenny keep me sane when Mum is arsey. A long sad story, dear diary, involving a marriage split. I actually rather like school, except maths and PE, because I get to see my mates. Bob and Simon the Raspberry are metalheads in the year above me at school. It's interesting knowing older people. Last year, I didn't know what a blowjob was, so Bob demonstrated using a banana. I still can't look at a banana without being embarrassed, but at least I will never be in the embarrassing situation of actually blowing now I know that this is not what you do. Simon gets his name because he spits a bit when he speaks, only a tiny bit, nothing like the Roy Hattersley spitting image puppet. And when he was overexcited once, he made a raspberry noise. So that's Simon the Raspberry for you. I took the Christmas decorations down today. This is always my job. Before Mum and Dad separated, me and Dad used to put up and take down the decorations together. Mum used to make mince pies for us when we put them up, and bacon sandwiches in January when we took them down. One of the tiny, shiny, red parcel decorations with gold ribbon wrapped round it came unravelled when I was undecorating today. Is undecorating a word? Oh, I'm going to use it. I was fascinated by these pretend presents when I was a child, and I always used to wonder what was inside them. Turns out it's a block of polystyrene. That's another one of the mysteries of childhood that turns out to be disappointing. Like the day I found out Sylvania is a real place, but it isn't populated by cute animal families, just normal people. Or it's like the day I found out what Dad was hiding on top of the wardrobe. My suspicion was sweets, but actually it was just some playing cards with pictures of ladies in their bra and pants. Monday, 6th of January. Back to school today. I wore the leather biker jacket I got for Christmas. Tyrannosaurus Reg from the year above admired it. He felt my shoulder to see if it was real leather. He touched me for about 3 whole seconds. I think he got aftershave for Christmas because he smelled really, really pungent. It was nice, but your eyes would water if you stood next to him for too long. I could sort of feel it in the back of my throat. I sniffed the shoulder of my jacket at home later, but I couldn't smell anything except leather. Mum doesn't work on Mondays, dear diary, so she expects me home unless I have a really good excuse. I sometimes do homework on Mondays, but we didn't get any today. I watched my Dusk Till Dawn video. I hope I grow boobs like Santanico Pandemonium. Tuesday, 7th of January. Ian came round after school and we ate the last 2 mince pies and the last of the squirty cream. There are only icky orange creams left in the tin of roses. Farewell, Christmas. You were wonderful while you lasted. I love Christmas so much that I can't help feeling sad when it's over. It was better when Mum and Dad were together, but it's still mostly brilliant. Wednesday, 8th of January. Ian's granddad Alf died yesterday evening. I asked Ian if he was okay. He said he sort of was, and he sort of wasn't. His granddad had been ill for ages. His dad said he still has to go to school, and after school he has to go straight home. I walked Ian home today, and then I went to the library. I prefer the actual library to the school library. There's more choice, and people don't draw penises in books from the actual library. I get most of my books from the adult section now, where people are probably adult enough to have actually seen penises, so they don't feel the need to draw them. I've read almost everything from the teenage section. I got desperate once and took out a Sweet Valley High book, but it was vomitsome. Today I took out The Outsiders by Essie Hinton, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, This Other Eden by Ben Elton, Claudine at St Clair's by Enid Blyton, and The Mating Season by P.G. Woodhouse. I've got great hopes for this last one. Hopefully it's going to be rude. Thursday, 9th of January. I had tea at Jenny's, but they call it dinner. We had salmon that wasn't out of a tin. Until Jenny came to tea at our house, she'd never had butterscotch angel delight, and to think people say that she lives at the good end of town. Sometimes for pudding, they just have fruit. After tea, we listened to the Sisters of Mercy's Vision Thing album, and we wrote our God's list. These are lists of the men, and sometimes women, who we admire most in the world, and who we'll probably date when we leave school or get into the sixth form. My list is as follows: Glenn Danzig, Peter Steele, Tom Araya, Christopher Lee, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Joey DeMeo, Rob Flynn, Max Cavalera, Rob Newman, and Dave Mustaine. Jenny's list is Peter Steele, Kiefer Sutherland, Nick Cave, Robert Smith, Dave Vanian, Andrew Aldrich, Ingrid Pitt, Johnny Depp, Trent Reznor, and Marilyn Manson. Jenny put Dr. Avalanche on her first God's list, but then she found out that he was a drum machine and not a real person. Friday, 10th of January. When I called for Ian this morning, I was all ready to say to his dad Terry that I was sorry to hear his bad news. I felt sick walking up the path. I hate having to say stuff like this, but I know I have to, and I am sorry, because Terry has already had a sad life, what with his wife, Ian's mum, having an affair and leaving him. Ian answered the door. Terry wasn't in. He'd gone to see Betty, Ian's nan, to start arranging the funeral. I changed to Ian's as usual, dear diary. Mum wants me to wear a sensible, dull, navy jumper and nasty polyester black trousers with a crease down each leg and an elasticated waist to school. This is so unreasonable because our school has no uniform. It's mean of Mum to try and invent one just because she had to wear one. I get round this by putting my clothes in my school bag, usually a Danzig t-shirt and tight black jeans, and leaving the house dressed in what Mum approves of. I call for Ian every morning before school and change in his bedroom, and then we walk to school together. When Mum and Dad split up, me and Ian used to joke that we should get his dad and my mum together so we could live in the same house and stay up late listening to music. It would never have worked. Terry is too laid back and Mum is too uptight. In the shop on the way to school, I bought Ian a Bounty. It's Alice Cooper's favourite chocolate bar. Saturday, 11th of January. I went to the Green Man pub with Ian and Jenny. The way it works, dear diary, is that we turn up wearing lipstick and smoking, and no one doubts that we're 18 because we appear to be so confident. Well, Ian and Jenny appear to be confident. I just follow behind them. Both of them look older than their age because they're tall. We don't draw attention to ourselves, and no one questions us. We don't get too drunk or too noisy, so we're not a nuisance. I've seen people get kicked out of the pub for being a nuisance. It seems to me that you can do what you want so long as you do it discreetly, so I don't go boasting about having been to the pub. I just quietly go about my business. We often see the metalheads from the year above us, or the goths from the sixth form. All the metal, goth and punk people at school sort of talk to each other, or at least nod at each other, regardless of what year they're in. It's like an invisible bond. The Green Man is a rock pub, so it's full of cool people, and has no townies or trendies to bother us. They have their own places, whose door I wouldn't darken for fear of hearing rubbish music. Tonight, Bob and Tyrannosaurus Reg were out. Reg is so much hotter than you would think based on his name, dear diary. I wish I could show you a picture. I think he's the best looking boy in the year above, but Jenny thinks it's Darren. Sunday, 12th of January. I just reread yesterday's entry. I should point out that it's just me and Jenny that wear lipstick to the pub, not Ian. I lay in bed all morning reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and listening to Slayer's Rain in Blood, and then I got up for dinner. Cheese crispy pancakes, peas and mash, followed by yummy Viennetta. Then I lay in bed all afternoon until Mum made me go up the shop for her to get loo roll because we've run out. She made me brush my hair as well as getting dressed. For lummy's sake, it's a Sunday and no one cares if you buy loo roll with scruffy hair. Also, she works in a supermarket, so why do we keep running out of basic stuff? Monday, 13th of January. Today, the front page of the Reading Chronicle didn't read, "Local people relieved at tidy-haired loo roll purchase. Fabric of society remains intact." Is textiles the most pointless lesson ever, dear diary, or is it still PE? I started making a pincushion today in textiles. This was our first coursework project. I've already done loads of stuff like this with Nanny Howard and with the Brownies, so for me it's well easy. And then in PE, it was raining really heavily, so we did loads of games that were basically throwing and catching a ball. Today has contributed nothing to my future career. I'm wearing naff Christmas novelty socks today with reindeer on because all my other socks are in the wash basket. Dickens said we should keep Christmas in our heart, but I'm also keeping it on my feet. Tuesday, 14th of January. Ian and Jenny came round after school. Mum was working until 8. We watched my Alice Cooper Welcome to My Nightmare video, and then they left before Mum got home. Basically, dear diary, we hang out at whoever's house is parent-free, and if there's no parent-free option, we either go to town or go to the park or go to Jenny's. Jenny's house is the biggest, and her parents are the least grumpy. Her dad is a teacher at the University of Reading, and he always asks us odd questions. Her mum is always smiley and doesn't mind Jenny being friends with boys, but Jenny has to do all her homework, and so she's often doing this on a Tuesday. Usually, on Tuesday Ian comes to my house after school and Jenny has to do homework. On Wednesday I go to Ian's house and Jenny has to do homework. On Thursday I go to Jenny's and we do homework together, and then we're allowed to go up to her room. Ian plays Doom with Matty Bateman most Thursdays. Saturdays is always pub night. Me, Ian and Jenny have been going since November last year. Before that we used to mainly amuse ourselves in the park, singing and drinking vodka or lovely cherry Lambrini. Mum bought a slightly squashed lemon meringue pie home with her. Sometimes I love that she works in a supermarket. Wednesday, 15th of January. Why do you only get lemon meringue pie? I'd eat apple meringue pie or cherry meringue pie, but probably not shepherd's meringue pie. I went to W.H. Smith's on my way home to flick through Kerrang. I didn't bother buying it because Reef were on the cover. I usually buy Kerrang if there's decent bands in it, and Ian always buys Metal Hammer, and then we swap so we get to read both. Jenny reads them after us and complains that there isn't a special magazine for goths. She sometimes reads her brother Bruce's Enemy. She also reads her parents' Guardian newspaper most days. And New Scientist magazine every week. Sometimes I look at the pictures in New Scientist when I'm round her house. Ian and I sometimes read his brother Gav's Viz magazine. Mum still hasn't done any washing, so I'm wearing my Christmas socks with a family of robins in hats on. If they were socks from Switzerland, they'd be Swiss family robins on socks. Don't groan, dear diary. I need to tell jokes to keep myself cheerful. Dad used to tell me jokes all the time, but Mum never does. She just sighs and asks me to make her a cup of tea because her feet hurt. I don't know how tea makes your feet stop hurting. Thursday, 16th of January. Talking of feet, dear diary, my DMs are finally comfortable. It has taken literally months for them to stop giving me blisters. Mum bought them for me at the start of September last year, ready for going back to school. They're just black 8-hole ones. I've been nagging her to get me the cherry red 14-hole ones, but even if I get them, I'm not sure I could be bothered to wear them in.